We're cooking with butter. Okay, welcome to iSpring's Leadership Series. This is exciting because this is already September. It's already
Whoa,
fall. I know, isn't it crazy? And today
scary.
we have a great guest and a very interesting topic I'm passionate about because we have with us today Paul Clothier from TapLearn. And not only does he have a passion for mobile technology, but a passion for mobile learning and helping people use new tools and technology to really create a more engaging learning platform. So we're just going to dive right in. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
you're in California, is that right?
yeah, I'm in sunny California. It's warm here.
Love it. Well, I'm in Denver, and it's warm here today, but we did have snow 2 days ago.
Okay. We're waiting for the rain. We have not had rain for God
True.
knows how long.
Yeah, and we have had unusually high amount of rain and then an early snow, so that is really odd. I have my special coffee mug just in honor of
iBeacon.
it.
I
Does
like.
say iBeacon, but I thought earlier that I wrote iBacon, and I got excited.
Well,
But
that's another technology that I won't be talking about.
yeah, I want bacon.
That's
But
a breakfast technology. Yeah.
that breakfast technology. But Paul, since early on when we met, was it at
I
what
think it was it DevLearn?
it was no, it wasn't DevLearn. It was imlearn,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay. My brain cells are going these days, so
Well, when we first met and you told me about iBeacon, I had never really heard of or dove into this technology and what it was. And now all of a sudden, I'm sure it's the reticular activating system that kicked in. And now I'm hearing and reading articles just today, one about Macy's and the huge launch they're doing with iBeacon technologies in all their stores before the holidays. So can you tell me what are iBeacons or iBeacon
sure.
technology?
So iBeacons, and I'm excited about this because I see currently they're using this for marketing, as you said, in Macy's. But I see the possibilities to use this in learning is, to me, pretty astounding. So here, this is an iBeacon. This is a tiny device. In fact, they're even smaller than this
Wow.
now. And this emits, you're familiar, most of us are familiar with Bluetooth. You know, our mobile devices have got Bluetooth. This is Bluetooth low energy. So these guys emit very low levels of Bluetooth. They call it, I think, Bluetooth 4.0. It's a level of Bluetooth that saves battery life. So if you are detecting iBeacon signals on a mobile device, it doesn't use as much battery life, so it's very low level. So
But
these guys, yeah,
on our phones, do we have to have the Bluetooth turned on?
you actually do have to have Bluetooth turned on, yeah.
Okay.
So these devices emit, you can think of this as like a lighthouse. It emits over a period of time, maybe every 5 seconds, it emits a signal. And the amazing thing about this is you can detect the location based on how far away your device is.
Wow.
So if you think about if you think about GPS, you
Right.
can locate someone's position, and we all use, you know, mobile maps. You can locate someone's position to 30 meters. That's about the lowest granularity. With an iBeacon, it can get down to 5 centimeters. So you can think of iBeacons in terms of in stores or in rooms. So you can detect the location from maybe 5 centimeters all the way through to about 30 meters. And the way that works is that with a mobile device, if you have Bluetooth on and you've opted in, and that's one of the most important things, especially for something like Macy's, you don't want to be bugged all the time.
Right.
So once you've opted in, you've accepted that, and you can then walk into a particular location, and as you approach that location, it knows that you're there, so it can push information to you. So think of maybe, you know, if you've got multiple beacons in a store, you can triangulate, and it doesn't have to be a store, it can be a university, it could be a business, you can triangulate and know exactly where someone is. So you can feed information to someone based on their location.
So it's not me receiving the information of where something is. For example, on a university, it might be helpful to know where my classes are or where the information I need is.
Exactly.
Sending me information.
Yeah, exactly. So you can think of this as sending out a signal saying, I'm here. Like every 5 seconds, I'm here, I'm here.
Okay.
And having a mobile device that picks that up, you can not only, and you're talking about universities, for instance, you could have a beacon that knows that people are in a room. So, for instance, let's suppose that you're a lecturer, you're at a university. As people walk in, the actual phone itself, everybody's phone, would detect that they're in that location, and it could immediately bring up content for that particular class.
Oh, that's
So
brilliant.
instead of searching for it,
No handouts to pick up. It just comes to my phone.
yeah, so that's one of the many possibilities. So that it also could know, students probably are not too keen on this, but it could know if you're in the room or not. So it could push information to you based on what room you're in, but it also, the professor or whatever, could have, console, iPad or whatever, which would tell them who's in the room and who attended.
Oh, that's another great one for corporate learning when you have to, you have to know who went through this training, for example.
Exactly. They're currently using this. You can see, usually, marketing organizations in companies run with this because for advertising purposes. You can see how useful it could be. You could walk by a shoe shop, and if you've opted in, it will say, hey, 20% off shoes today.
Now you're talking.
Come in. What's that?
Now you're talking.
Yeah, there you go. So you can see that it can detect location. Now, the fascinating thing about it to me is that these devices, a modern smartphone, can also become an iBeacon. So I can switch this to become an iBeacon.
Oh, that's
that means that, let's suppose you're in a university environment. As you're walking around, you are broadcasting every 5 seconds so that you would know if a professor is in the immediate vicinity. Or you could know if other people that were working in your math class are around, if you want to ask them questions.
Right.
So not only does it detect the location or detect whether you're close to a particular location, but you could have multiple people's phones that detect who's around.
Now, how do you see this transferring over? And you probably have some good case studies of this, but how are corporations using this in learning?
Well, there's very few corporations right now that are actually using it in learning, and most of the applications of these guys are in marketing and advertising.
Right.
The closest I've seen, I know all Apple stores now have iBeacons installed, and the idea is that you opt in, you're in front of some accessories, or you're in front of the iPad stands, and up will come some information that will either give you a deal, or it might even be, hey, do you want to know more about the specifications of the device you're standing in front of?
Oh, wow.
So I see that there's loads of applications in learning and training, and I don't actually know of any organization that's fully, implemented that type of solution.
Yeah.
But you could do things like, you could be taking an e-learning course. The LMS knows that you've taken that e-learning course. You could leave. It could have a timer that would say, okay, if 3 days have expired and it's 8 a.m. to noon, and that student is sitting in front of a laptop and has been sitting in front of that laptop for 30 minutes, then send them an email, send them a message with a link to the test, or send them an email through their laptop.
Right.
So that right now, not many not many companies have actually implemented it. It's more of like, hey, what can we do with this? So I've been playing around with this for a while. In fact, let me show you a quick demo.
Oh, I'd love it.
So if I can...
And I'll let everyone know that's listening, if you're listening live, if you have questions, I am checking the Google Plus page, and I'm also checking Twitter, the iSpring Twitter account. So if you have questions, throw them out there. Hopefully I'll be able to see them. Right now I see people watching, but I don't see any questions. So throw those out there, and I'll pull those in.
Okay. So here's, on my iPhone, I've got, I don't know if you can see that, it says welcome to the, what does it say? Welcome to the Mobile Learning Design Room.
Okay.
So that's because it's near this beacon. So if I now get another beacon and move it near, did you see that change?
Oh, wow.
So that's very close location, but this could be as close as, you could have it 10 meters, 20 meters. You adjust that.
Okay, so immediately my brain thinks of learning scavenger hunts. Or
exactly, yeah.
Content around a campus of an organization and having people, as you walk by, maybe it's information about that department, maybe it's information, trivia about the company's history, or a new technology being used. Immediately I'm thinking, wow, you could really do a lot with this. And from what I've read, the iBeacon technologies, those little iBeacons, are very inexpensive.
Yeah, you can get these. These are like, I don't know, $30 each, but if you buy them bulk, they could, be $10 each,
right,
or whatever. And you're absolutely right. In fact, I was talking to a guy in a company recently who did scavenger hunts to have people understand the environment of the company and the office and the library.
Right.
And he didn't implement iBeacons, but that's what he's going to do in the future, because right now he sends people, says, okay, go over to the library, take a picture of this, go to this.
Right.
Well, now with iBeacons, he can have people use their phones, go over to a particular location. It will know that they're in the vicinity, give them instructions, and then point them to the next location.
Do you have to be, so if I'm in a building and I have my phone with me, but I don't have it open to any app, does it just pop up? How am I getting
yeah, that's a great question. So you would have to have the app running in the background.
Okay, so you do. So for example, if I'm in a class, that makes sense because I would know that. But even back to the retail example, if I walked into a store, I would have to open up the...
Exactly. So for instance, let's suppose it was Macy's and they sent you an email saying, hey, if you want to take advantage of our new shopping experience, tap this, tap that. Agree to opt in, and I think that's the big challenge with marketing.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I do not want to walk by Macy's without my permission and have them tell me about a deal on.
Paul, this is where you and I are different. I would want to know where the deals are immediately.
That's good. I like that.
I don't want to open the app. I just want it to start buzzing and say shoes are on sale.
That's fun.
I can see where that's a challenge. And to me, what a cool use in a university. I mean, my youngest daughter is just starting school, and we were talking about how these classes are so huge, that she's in. And I said, how do they even, they don't know whether you're there, and they don't care. It's like if you don't show up, it's your learning.
Right.
How cool this would be for the professors to be sending content that you need for that day. Wow. Okay, and last month we talked with Clark Quinn about, how we need to revolutionize and start this revolution in our corporate learning departments. And I could see where this can seem overwhelming, because is it difficult? Obviously, these are getting more and more popular. I'm seeing more information. Right. And I think there's a company, is iBeacon owned by Shopkick, or is Shopkick buying these for retail?
Well, iBeacon is a specification that Apple set.
Okay, so that's the technology.
But you can buy iBeacons. There's about 20 different companies that sell iBeacons. I think one of the most popular ones is Estimote. I don't know if you've heard of those.
No.
They're kind of angular, rectangular.
They look like a climbing wall rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have seen those. I didn't know who. Yeah, it almost looked like a little climbing hold, and it looked like a
Yeah.
little stone that was stuck on things. I got an invitation to join Shopkick, but then I saw Shopkick associated with iBeacon, so I wasn't sure how those were similar. But if I work within a learning department, and I'm saying, okay, how would we be able to explore this? Do you and your company help organizations program these and writing the programs for that, or what's your role with?
What my role is more advising on structure and the design of learning programs as opposed to low level. Mind you, having said that, that's what I've been doing recently is playing with, tweaking with some code and using
Right.
these guys and figuring out how to use them. But the challenge is right now that I don't think that a lot of training departments, training organizations either know of the existence or the power of them.
They still don't know what QR codes are, Paul. We're still trying to get people to know what those are.
Actually, you bring up QR codes. So if you compare these to QR codes are very useful. We were talking about scavenger hunts.
Right.
Challenge with QR codes is that you have to go up, run an app, put your phone, take a picture, and then get the information. Nice thing about beacons is that you can be unaware and move into a certain area and have that information. So it's very different.
Right. You don't have to find the QR code. You just walk into that room, and the content comes to you.
Yeah, and another thing, and I can see this being used in training and learning, it's currently used for marketing, and that is if you've opted in, in a mall, you've seen those huge, great ads, scrolling ads or whatever.
Right.
There are now interactive ads where if you've opted in, you can walk by, and if you're within 10 meters of that ad, it will personalize it. So it'll say, hey, Paul, we know that you're into Apple products. Check out the new iPad over there in the Apple Store. Or, hey, Megan, we know that you're into, I don't know, shoes.
Exactly. Oh,
hey, Gina, we know you're into shoes. Check out our sale over there. But the interesting thing about that is that you have a digital display that changes and is personalized
as you go by them, as different people go by them. See, and there are a lot of people who are creeped out by that. They don't like.
Yeah. So
to me, wouldn't it be better to have a personalized experience than a generic experience?
I think so. I mean, you can think of in a university, you could be walking by a display and say, "Hey, Paul, we haven't received your math paper yet." I don't know. You could do all sorts of interesting things with these.
Wow. Imagine, now see, we need those in elementary schools because then parents wouldn't have to worry about when their child comes home, maybe there's an iBeacon on the child and it tells the parents, here's the homework assignment that they need.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that because I was watching a video the other day where someone had stuck an iBeacon, a very thin iBeacon on the bottom of someone's shoe, and they were doing, I forget exactly how they were using it, but they were checking out someone's location within a particular area because it was on the bottom of their shoe.
I saw that. I saw your comment about that. But yeah, they were showing a demo of using it. So I could see actually in education, the sad thing is it's so hard to get our learning world to adopt. I mean, marketing adopts things right away and will pick up new technologies and find ways to use it and reach people with content that they want them to have. We really do, kind of going back, we need to have that same mindset of marketing mindset of saying, how do we as learning professionals look at it and say, how can we adopt some new technology to help us get the information? I mean, how cool would it be if I was enrolled in a leadership program and I was maybe one of 25 in our company that was in this leadership program over the year? Then anytime I walk by certain departments, content could come to me that here's an article, here's a blog post, this is information on our corporate blog, or I don't know, I see so many things that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. I think the reason that marketing, advertising quickly adapts that and adopts that is because it's very close to the bottom line of sales.
Sure.
And I think that one of the challenges in learning and development, training development, is that it's harder sometimes to show a return on investment.
Right.
So I think, if you want to, not just iBeacons, but any technology, if you can link it to the bottom line sales of a company, you've got a much better chance of getting funding. And I think that's the big challenge in any training organization is it's seen as, oh, we create training, we need to create training rather than we need to support the performance of our staff,
Right. So, Paul, I mean, sadly, we're out of time already. Gosh, this is so fascinating. If people want to learn more about the iBeacon technologies and what you're doing, are you writing somewhere? Is there somewhere we can learn? Obviously, your website, taplearn.com.
Yeah, there's nothing specifically on iBeacons there. I'm hoping to finish an article on iBeacons soon. I'm not sure where it'll be published, but sure to let you know. If people want to contact me, Paul C. Paul C. I forgot my name there. At taplearn.com. And if they want to send me, Paul C. at taplearn.com. If they want to send me any questions or whatever, I'll be more than happy to answer that. But it's a fascinating technology. I wish I had more time because, maybe next time I'll have to show you some other examples online.
I'm hooked. I'm fascinated by this. I've already been.
Well, that's just because you like shoes, Gina.
I'm waiting for it to start beeping. There's a sale, but
I'll see what I can do.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I did get an invitation about a month ago from someone on Twitter, and it had to do with iBeacon, and it was through Shopkick. So I'm sure it's a store that's running this, but somehow I think it is tied to Macy's. So I'm going to go and accept that so I can play with it. Which is one of my tips for people in any department, in any industry. Play with technology and don't be afraid to look at it. And then you start seeing ways you can apply it to, like you're doing, take something that's already being used in marketing, and then you look at it and say, how could this be used in learning? And all of a sudden the light bulbs just start popping.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. And then Paul, are you on Twitter? What's the best way to get a hold of you? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn or Paul C. at taplearn.com.
Perfect. Okay.
Either way.
Well, email. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you so much. And
sure.
It's been fascinating. It's opening our eyes. Now we're going to start seeing iBeacon articles everywhere. So, and I'll look forward to reading your article. Thank you so very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Take care.